Seguimos con la cobertura de FutureCon 2013 en la ciudad de Río. Esta vez nos visita la empresa Aptilo con soluciones de Wi-Fi offloading o todo lo que sería integrar Wi-Fi en las redes macro de los operadores para que puedan desviar parte del tráfico en el RAN a esta tecnología sin que el usuario se dé cuenta y el operador pudiendo gestionar todo como si fuera una red propia, como si fuera una red móvil. Contamos con la presencia de Paul. Welcome to Telesemana.
Thank you very much.
So tell us first off, what's Aptilo presenting at this show, and why what you are presenting is relevant for this market.
Okay, so Aptilo, we are, as you said, initially a software company doing solutions for carrier Wi-Fi and offloading. And as you very well know, it's a very hot topic. We had a lot of success over the last 2 years down in this region, specifically actually in Brazil. We have customers like both TIM and Oi that we have announced.
Tell us what they're doing with your solution.
So what they're doing with our solution is that they're using us for making it possible to provide Wi-Fi services in a very fashioned way, so to say. So being able to provide Wi-Fi services for guests and for tourists and other ones coming here as an ad hoc users, but also for their existing customer base in a very secure way, so they can utilize technologies like eSIM, which is a way of doing an automatic offloading. So if you are a customer to TIM or Oi, for example, and you have a mobile subscription with them, you come in to a Wi-Fi area or hotspot zone, your device, your mobile phone or your iPad will automatically fall over to the Wi-Fi network and be handled and treated exactly as if you were in the 3G or the 4G network.
Okay.
So that is what they both are doing, and they're using our platform for that purpose.
Okay, so here at the show you have announced another operator that has joined your list of clients here in Latin America.
Exactly. So
tell us about that one.
Sure, we say that in Brazil now we have done a hat trick, so we have 3 customers. So we just announced that we got also Linktel, who is a independent WISP, very successful. If I am correctly informed, they are the biggest independent wireless ISP. As you may know, that Oi early on acquired WEX, who was also an independent wireless ISP in the market.
Didn't know.
You didn't know. Now you know.
Now I know. So, now everybody knows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good.
So Linktel is an independent wireless ISP. They have a lot of hotspots, hotels, coffee shops, and all over the country.
Okay.
And they are now using our platform for being able to take care of the growth of the users, but also to be able to include more functionality, more ways of actually addressing the customers and the market, because they are going out for, hotels, airports, different kind of campus areas and coffee shops, universities and so on. And then you need to have a flexibility into the platform to be able to address all those kind of different segments. And that is what we can help them with, and that's what we are providing to them.
Can they reach agreements with the mobile operators to make sure that the handsets can actually access the network?
Exactly, and that is exactly what they are doing. Okay. They have a good footprint with the wireless coverage, so to say, and obviously all the mobile operators, including the one that is already our customers, they are always looking for further ways of extending the footprint. So it is a natural thing for them to start the negotiation and talk about that. And I know that Linktel talks with all the major operators in this market to see how they can further cooperate in making sure that not only their visitors and the customers to the Linktel network as such, but also the TIMs and the Ois and the Telefonicas and the Claro customer can utilize that existing network. So
okay.
Yeah.
Now, that's from the announcements here at the show.
Correct.
And what you're doing in Brazil. Anything else you're doing in Latin America besides Brazil? Any other prospects you may have?
Yes.
And tell us which countries.
More or less every country.
Every country?
Yeah, more or less. So I don't want to exclude anyone.
Okay.
But what we see in general is that there is a big boom for the data traffic as of course. I mean, that's, if you just look at the opening key speeches here and so on, there's a lot of discussion about the heterogeneous networks. And it's all about how can we utilize all the available technologies, the 2Gs, the 3Gs, the 4Gs, and including the Wi-Fi as well, to make sure that the end user get a good experience. So and that is happening in all the markets. So we see a lot of tractions in countries like Colombia, in Peru, where we just have deployed also with an operator. We have customers in Mexico. We have a lot of discussion down in Argentina and so on, and Chile. So I wouldn't say that
it's interest everywhere.
It's a generic interest in the market, definitely.
Okay. Now you mentioned that also you're announcing a couple of things here in the show in terms of your technology.
Definitely.
One would be in terms of the authentication process that you're simplifying to make sure that more handsets can do the automatic process, and also about the bottlenecks to make sure not all the traffic goes to the core.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us about those two things?
So the first thing that you mentioned here is that how to address more devices. And as you know, a lot of the new smartphones coming out, and the iPhone was the pioneer of having support for eSIM built in natively into the device. And of course,
just very quickly, if you can address the audience what eSIM means in terms of the authentication, so we know exactly.
It means in the simple way that you have a SIM card in your device, and that SIM card enables you to connect to your 2G or 3G network. In the same way as it enables you for connecting to those networks, we are also using the same SIM card to make sure that you can connect to the hotspot.
Okay.
Exactly. And what we now want to do, and what we have come up with some innovative solutions, is that how to address also all the devices that don't have those capabilities built in. And what we do is that we have a method for doing that, which very simply put, you can do a one-time SMS loop. So first time you come to a network, you do a registration, and we catch and capture the information like the mobile phone number and those kind of credentials that is needed. And with that information, we can go into the core of the mobile network, take out the policies and information we need, and then we can handle that device as if they had the SIM card and the eSIM capabilities. One time
registration, and from then on the user access the networks without even knowing.
Exactly. Exactly. And that means that it's not only now the phones or the models or the versions of the phones that have this natively, but we can also address the big, large population of devices out there in the market. And I think that is one of the major differences. Yes.
And the second one was about managing the traffic to make sure that operators are not just offloading the RAN, but also the core.
So actually what's happening in the market is that if you go back a few years, everyone treated Wi-Fi as a local breakout, which means that you didn't even consider to take the traffic back to the mobile core. So, and that was a very good way from an offloading perspective, because you took the traffic and you offloaded it both from a radio or RAN perspective, but also from a core perspective.
It was isolated actually.
Yeah, so as isolated, exactly. But as time goes by and you try to actually get the same kind of treatment of the user and the devices, there is a need of taking some traffic up to the core. And from a technology point of view, you normally talk about that you establish a GTP tunnel or a tunnel where you take the traffic. So if you come into a Wi-Fi scenario today or talk with a mobile operator, they normally have concerns of, one concern is that they are overloaded with traffic in the RAN network, in the radio network. So offloading is important from that aspect. But the other challenge is also how to make sure that my user are going to be treated in the same way as if he are in my 3G network, because it's pros and cons, you know. You want to achieve an offloading from a traffic point of view, but at the same time you want to keep the same kind of relationship with your customer and with those devices.
Totally.
So that means that at the end of the day you have to be, it's not black or white. It's really coming down to what makes most sense. So if you're a customer with a phone, a smartphone, I see a lot of rationale actually to take that traffic back to the core and treat it with the same kind of policies and so on that you do if you are in the 3G or in the macro network or in a Wi-Fi network. But if you come in there and I'm still the same customer, I have my smartphone, but I also have my iPad or my PC. I log on to that, and maybe I'm looking at the video film from that on my PC or my pad. I'm not equally sure if I always have to take that traffic back to the core. So it comes down to location and kind of services and kind of devices.
And your platform distinguishes
exactly
which traffic, depending on what the operator wants.
we can actually go in and look at what kind of device, what kind of location, and so on.
What kind
and
of
then
traffic?
and what kind of traffic. And then we can determine, are we going to push this traffic back to the core, or are we going
Just
to take it as a local breakout? And that means that the operator can kind of fine tune how they're going to do this, so they can optimize
The traffic flows everywhere.
loads and so on. Everything from the RAN side up to the core side. So we're really happy with that.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, letting us know about your new developments.
Thank you
And we'll
very
keep an
much.
eye on Aptilo.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.